All right, it looks like we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone feeling? Woo! Awesome. All right, so, again, I just need to give y'all a round of applause, not just for yourselves and not just for the speakers, for spending Saturday to work on ourselves and our businesses. Please, let's get us started. I'm really excited because we've got an incredible lineup for our entrepreneurship panel today. I just want to, riz them up for a second before I pass the mic over. We're joined by Eddie Rivera from UNLV Greenspun. He's an executive coach. He hosted that riveting workshop for us earlier today. He's going to share a little bit more about his story in a moment. We also have Ivy Ma, the owner and founder of China Mama and China Mama Express. Shout out to the immigrant entrepreneurs in the house. And we also have Morris Jackson with us. Morris Jackson, not only was he a college football player, not only is he a serial entrepreneur with multiple businesses, including Valhalla, which is an esports training facility that he owns and operates in 3 locations across America, including one in Vegas, and he wants to bring one to the historic West Side. Not only all that, he's also one of the youngest Black hotel owners in America. Let's give our panelists a warm welcome. So let's start with you, Morris, and we'll go around the room. If you can just kind of give us a quick introduction in your own words, and I'm going to have my cheat sheet over here. In your own words, what your entrepreneurial journey has been like.
Yeah, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Morris Jackson. It's kind of difficult to say what I do because I just call myself an entrepreneur now, because I'm more like a craze entrepreneur, because I just dive into anything that makes sense to me. But my journey started, I would say, right after COVID. I was in banking for 26 years as an executive banker, not just here in Las Vegas, but also in Florida as well. And over the years I was in banking, I had the privilege of meeting many successful entrepreneurs. And during that journey, I just became riveted by the journey, the challenges, how you've overcome them, the partnerships you've created. And I kind of felt weak, like I'm taking the easy way out here. And so finally, after COVID, I took the leap of faith, thankfully, to someone like Eddie Rivera, who's been a mentor of mine for over 10 years now. We've known each other, met each other at church, and he's kind of helped me on my spiritual journey and professional journey. And I finally took the leap of faith and said, I'm going to bet on myself for the first time, and went out there and started my very first business. That went really well. And then I got kind of like that bug bites you. I went in and started my second business. Had the privilege of doing that with Eddie and Stephen Ness. And we've been journeying down that path for the past 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. And then I got bored and I did something else. Bought a hotel. Didn't even think I would ever own a hotel, but worked with some amazing partners, specifically Wyndham Hotels. They not only showed me the journey of becoming a hotel owner, but they developed these amazing programs for minority ownership. So if you're a woman or a minority, look into hospitality. There are gateways and pathways that the hotels actually support you in, and really give you the opportunity to become a hospitality owner yourself. It was kind of funny because I was always a big Monopoly fan. And so I went from owning greenhouses to the red ones now. So that was a lot of fun for me. Like now I have 2 hotels that I'm building, one in Blackfoot, Idaho. I can tell you more why Blackfoot. And then also in Wildwood, Florida. And so we do mid-scale, upscale, limited services hotels. And it's been a great journey. And it's funny, when I bought my first one, the owner of Wyndham said, trust me, you're going to want another one. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want another one. I just want to get one and I'm done. And then I kid you not, probably 6 months later, I said, I want another one. And so now we have 2, and hopefully the third one is on its way. And I'm hoping to have it here in Las Vegas, since I live in Las Vegas. But it's been amazing to be able to go to some of the conferences and you don't see a lot of people of my color in the room. And so for us to disrupt that, that's what I love to do, is disrupt things. If things are always one way, I look to shift it to another way. And so that disruption's been fun. And then after buying a hotel, getting the second one, I got bored again. And so I said, why not do something different and fill a gap that was needed out there in esports. Esports is one of the fastest growing industries in sports in the world. I saw a big space in how do you develop the youth segment into becoming esports professionals and how to teach them the skills, the crafts, how to get them out of their homes and bring them into community. I wanted to solve for that. And so we started a business called Valhallan. We've opened 3 locations in the last 4 months. It's going faster than expected, but you know what? Again, if it's not fast and furious, it's not for me. So we keep going at it. Our goal is to open 50 locations across the United States. Again, we have 3, and my goal, a passion of mine, is to build one here in the historic West Side, where it's free to the underappreciated communities, where our kids will have access to what's available to them any day, any day of the week, where they have the opportunity, just like anyone else out there, to be at their best.
Woo, that's great. Thank you. Same question to you, Ivy. Introduce yourself and tell us about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. And then thank you for having me here today. My name is Ivy, and I'm the owner of China Mama Restaurant. I was born in Harbin City in China, and I grew up in the family with a food and beverage background. When I was 13 years old, I moved to New Zealand for my middle school and high school. I was there for 5 years. And then that time, it was my first time experiencing living in the new country individually. And then later on, I came to United States for university. So I was in University of Oregon. And then after I graduated, I moved to Las Vegas. In here, I met my husband, and I was planning to start my own business. Because my family, they are very successful in China for their restaurant business. So we were actually planning to bring our family brand to the States. And then personally, I really want to extend our family legacy of honoring the culinary traditions. So there was a great opportunity in 2017 for me to purchase China Mama. And I did that. That's where I start my entrepreneur journey. Yeah.
Thank you, Ivy.
Okay, top that. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me again this afternoon. This is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I was born and raised in the island of Puerto Rico, and came to the United States when I was 19 years old. And the reason I came to the United States was because, like a lot of us, my story is your story. Our story is your story. Unfortunately, my father was very abusive, physically, mentally, and in so many other aspects. And I literally escaped to get out of that situation. Went to Los Angeles. I had $50 in my pocket, one-way ticket to Los Angeles. I didn't speak a word of English. I'm still working on it. And so, but I knew that the dream in my heart was bigger than the environment that I found myself in. And I knew that I had to step out of that environment to see my dream fulfilled. At 7 years old, I wrote down in a piece of paper, which I still have, that one day I will find myself standing in front of people, talking to them. I had no idea what that meant. Fast forward, in Los Angeles, I finally landed an opportunity as a teller with Bank of America. So I worked for Bank of America for several years. From there, I went to Citicorp, Citibank, and then I moved to San Francisco. And from San Francisco, moved to New York. Whatever they wanted me, I will say, yes, I'm going. And so I built a career in the financial industry. And this was 1975. Some of you were not even born yet, right? And so, but I began that journey. And so worked in the financial industry for many years. And after that, came to Las Vegas. Was supposed to be 3 weeks, and 3 weeks turned out to be 1989. I've been here since. That's a long time, right? And I found a home that I never imagined I will find. So I went from living in San Francisco, surrounded by water, to the desert, surrounded by greatness. And that greatness is all of you, because I needed to understand why people do the things that they do. I needed to understand what my father did. Somebody can tell you that loves you, but then hurts you. And then that began this journey of discovering, why do people do that? And how can I be a catalyst to change that? So I started studying human behavior on my own, by the way. So I'm working for Citibank at the time in Las Vegas, came here for 3 weeks, never left. Then from there, I went to the medical field. I managed a medical practice for 11 years as an administrator. How that happened to a little kid from the island of Puerto Rico that didn't speak any English? But I knew there was a plan in my heart, and I needed to follow through. That wasn't the dream. The dream is this. And so from there, I left the medical field, and then I got a call from someone if I was interested in opening a new hotel in Las Vegas called Bellagio. So I ended up working in hospitality, opened Bellagio in 98. And then from there, I went to MGM Resource International as the director of HR. And then from there, I went to Four Seasons Hotel as the director of HR. But that dream in my heart was still kind of like hunting me. In 2014, I decided to go on my own as an executive coach. And that journey began in 2014, hasn't ended. Somewhere along the way, because you don't do this alone, I start meeting amazing individuals. Some of them are sitting right here, right now, and that young man behind the computer. You don't do this alone. You don't walk this journey alone. And then just for fun, when I was still working at Four Seasons, I got a call from UNLV, and they asked me if I could be a guest speaker in the hotel college. So in 2009, I became a guest speaker in the hotel college. So you got to find your way to somebody's got to hear your story. And so I began to tell my story to undergrad student in the hotel college. That led to an opportunity to be in a panel discussion for the business school. Business school calls me, goes, hey, we would like for you to be the executive coach for the MBA program in the business school. I'm like, are you serious? So I did that for 7.5 years. Then COVID kicked in, right? And we all know what happened. We don't want to go there, but it happened. And so I had an opportunity to work for a financial institution called US Bank. And this young man was part of that institution. So was that other young man out there. By the way, this is my twin brother. And just so you know, the resemblance is uncanny. And that's my son. I adopted him years ago. This is what family is about. In Puerto Rico, I have a family. This is the family I chose. But better yet, this is the family that chose me, right? And when you get chosen, what do? You embark on that journey. So somehow in between, I decided to do my master's degree, and I did a master's degree in behavioral psychology. I'm currently doing my PhD in behavioral psychology. Nice. Because understanding what we do, why we do it, and the behavior, all of us, is what's in my heart. You got a little taste of that earlier. I hope that was okay. And that's my story.
Such incredible stories and such incredible panelists we're joined by today. You know, some of the core values I like to live by, and I've heard that shared today, you know, always be learning. We're better together. So thank you. You know, there's a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs. There's existing entrepreneurs in this room and just movers and shakers in general. And you know, there's a lot of challenges that we face in our entrepreneurial journey. And so the question is, you know, what advice do you have for any aspiring entrepreneurs in the room today? And when I ask this question, I like for you to think about yourself, you know, 20, 30 years ago when you were starting your journey, and, you know, advice that you may have found beneficial to hear back then.
Yeah, the advice I would have given myself when I was younger would have been start sooner. I waited way too long to start on betting on myself. I think a lot of times we want the world to validate us, or we want society to validate us, or even a corporation to validate us, where really the validation only comes from two people. That's the man upstairs and yourself. Those are the only two people you need to validate. And so I started learning this technique every morning when I wake up and I do my routine, right? Part of my routine is when I stand in front of the mirror, I remind myself of who I am and why I'm here and why I've been put on this earth. There's a reason why we all have a unique identity. There's a reason why our fingerprints are all different. So you're meant to be different. You're meant to be you, but you have to start believing in you and not wait for someone else to believe in you. I really wish when I was younger, I would have given myself that advice, that you are the greatest gift on this earth and you can do whatever your heart desires. Don't wait to start. So that would be the best advice I could have given myself when I was younger.
That's great. Thank you, Morris. Ivy, same question.
Yeah, I probably would start by understanding what you are good at and what you have a passion for. I think this is very important, and it's going to make a big difference when difficulties come by. Because being an entrepreneur is not easy. You're going to get tested and you're going to face lots of challenges. In this case, you have to always believe in yourself and your vision, and also continue learning and build a strong network of positive people to support you is also very important. And for me, continue learning, the way I do it is I push myself to open several different locations of restaurant. So during this process, I learned all the details of how to open a restaurant and how to operate it. And also, I think if you could have any opportunity to seek mentorship from an experienced entrepreneur, you should do that, because it's going to help you to avoid many unnecessary mistakes. Yeah, that's the advice I
love that. Thank you.
You know, looking back, and I can really look back because I'm a little older than Moses. Yeah, we traveled together back then. Be careful with the diminishing conversations that you have with yourself. Either you're a diminisher or you're a multiplier. And I knew that I was diminishing my value because I was living somebody else's expectations of me. People will come into your life for a season, for a reason, for a lesson, or for a journey. Take the lesson and take the journey. But be careful. Sometimes you have to love people from afar. Be a multiplier and not a diminisher. Real quick story. When I was working for Bank of America in Los Angeles, California, Olympic and Bundy, West Side, if you're familiar with Los Angeles, I was there for several years. A new manager comes in. A couple of weeks went by, and she walked in there on a Monday with an envelope. I got so excited. I'm getting a bonus or I'm getting a promotion. And she goes, I want to see you in my office. I said, not a problem. Walked into her office. Is everybody here over 21? Anyways, and so I'm sitting there and she goes, this is your last paycheck. This is your last day. And I went, excuse me? I said, I'm a teller, but I've been doing very well. I have a great relationship with the customers. My colleagues really, we get along very well. And I've been doing this for several years. I'm also bilingual, so I can help Spanish-speaking, customers. And I also speak Catalan and a little bit of Italian because my mom was from Spain. So I figure, hey, I think I'm a value to this company. And she said, without hesitation, I don't want no F Puerto Ricans in my building. Get out. Wow. This was 1975. Wow. I had a choice at that point. Believe what she said, and I did, because I was down. I was really down. Fast forward 20 years. I'm driving from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Are you familiar with a little road called Zizek's Road? Yeah. Who the heck named that street? Whatever, right? That's another. Oh my God. So sorry about that. Anyways, a truck just tilted. We go into the vehicle. Everybody pulled over, right? And they're calling, 911, and everything is happening in the moment. I just run to the vehicle with this other guy. We pull the person out of the vehicle, and without thinking, I start doing CPR, right? Just doing CPR. Paramedics arrive to the scene, and you have to step back and let them do what they do best, right? And so I'm standing there, everybody's standing around, kind of listening, seeing what's going on, and suddenly they go into, I didn't know this, they go into the person's ID to get their name, so see if there's any brain function, so they start calling by their first name, right? Like Morris, and there was no reaction. Suddenly they go first and last name. And as I'm standing there, I realized that person that I pulled out of that vehicle was the woman that fired me at Bank of America 20 years before. Wow. That's the turning point. I call this the lesson at Zizek's Road. Because I made a promise to myself. I will never, ever hurt someone in the manner that person hurt me. I will never become the kind of leader that does that to other people. Wow. Greatest lesson I ever learned. From that point forward, I continue having conversations with myself that are more multiplying conversations than diminishing conversations. Oh, I get passionate about this.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was amazing. Yeah, we've heard, Ivy had mentioned mentorship, and everybody here has mentioned mentorship. And so I just want to remind everybody here, that's what we're here for. We're here to exchange ideas with one another, to support each other, to uplift each other, to find mentors. And so, there's folks like Marta and John Stevenson. They're here all the time, and they're mentors to us. And so please make sure to tap into those resources, just like the entrepreneurs that are on our panel today. And so entrepreneurship can be challenging because sometimes we fall into this like pit of despair. We have a great idea, we get super excited, and then it's a lot harder to bring those visions to reality. And so many folks end up quitting along those ways. And so, starting with you, Morris, if you could share a piece of adversity that you had to overcome in your journey and how you did that.
Yeah, I actually will share two. I think the first one starts with myself, and that's what they call this impostor syndrome, right? Where you kind of tell yourself you can't, you won't, this is too challenging, or whatever the case may be. So fighting that first battle against yourself is a necessity, right? I think what Ivy mentioned, surrounding yourself with the right people. Choose your team. Choose your team who uplifts you. Choose your team who can help you find the best version of yourself. Choose your team that helps you believe in your dream and helps you accelerate that dream. People that you surround yourself, almost think of them like gas to your car, right? I mean, the right people with you, fueling you, can take you very, very far. So surround yourself with the right people. And sometimes there's some people you have to move from, right? Some people are with you, like Eddie said earlier, for a moment or a season in your life, but you have to know when that seasons change. And it's time to put on the snow boots instead of the swim shorts, right? So just know, okay, it's time to change clothes right now, because they were good for that portion of your journey. Now you might need someone else for that second part of your journey, right? So understand when it's time to, whether it's called upgrade, enhance, or change during that season. And then I would say the second, the second advice I would give you, or even I've given myself over the years, that was a big challenge to me, was that you have to invest in your dream, right? You have to you're going to have to cut something out of your life, right? Maybe it's less sleep. Maybe it's surrounding yourself, again, leaving the friends that are taking you away from your dream, right? You're gonna have to, I call it trimming the fat, right? So you got to trim some of the fat that you have in your life to give yourself this undedicated amount of time to put towards what you want. No one can want this more than you. No one can drive it better than you. You're the only person behind that vehicle. Again, surround yourself with the people that's going to fuel it. But remember, you're the one who's driving the car. You're the one with the foot on the gas. So that means you're the one who's going to have to work at it more than anyone else. That means early mornings, late nights, studying, researching, learning, connecting, marketing, promoting, guerrilla marketing. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Like, you have to understand, it is a fight that you have to fight. It is a grind that you have to grind. It is the opportunity to pay yourself back. And I always remind myself is that I owe me. No one else owes me. I owe myself. And so I make certain I give to myself as much as possible. It does come across a little bit selfish, but sometimes on your entrepreneur journey, you have to become selfish. Be selfless in helping others, but selfish in giving to yourself. You got to have time for yourself. You got to have time to invest in your dream. You got to have time to build your future. So just make certain you're giving yourself that time, because it's necessary for you to get what you want. And grind. It is a grind. It's never meant to be easy. I always remind myself of a photo that I had in my office. It was about, and you've probably seen this before. It was two gentlemen or two guys. They had a pickaxe, and they were chopping away at dirt, right? And you had one guy who was one swing away from hitting diamonds, and he stops and turns away. But the other guy below, he keeps grinding. And I remind myself every day, I'm that second guy. I'm that second guy who has to grind every day. So you're going to have days where you feel like you don't want to get out of bed. Force yourself out of bed. Throw yourself out if you have to. You're going to feel like I don't want to leave the house, but you have to leave the house, because that next conversation you have out there in the market, or out there in a mixer, or here at Nevada Partners, that can be the changing point of your life. You might not want to pick up that phone and make that next phone call, but that next phone call may have been the person you've been waiting to speak to your entire life. But a lot of times we stop before we get to that next point. So I would say keep grinding every day.
That's great.
So for me, I took over China Mama when I was 26 years old. And that time, my entire staff was older than me. And it was not easy to gain their respect. So I had to get their support, and then for the changes that we were making. And then one of the biggest obstacles occurred last year, March. We experienced fire incidents in our original location. So that location right now is still currently closed under renovation. After the fire, we have to adapt and identify it quickly. And then we have to decide to, open a new location to provide to our employee and also to our customers. And that time was super stressful because I have to make lots of decisions in a short time period. So we were able to, no, we have to open China Mama Express in 2 months after the fire. And then luckily we were able to open our primary location right now in Shanghai Plaza after 3 months of the fire. So that accident actually taught me the value of viewing challenges is a way to grow. Because without the fire, I probably will never move so quickly. Because by the end of this year, we're gonna have 5 different locations in Las Vegas. Yeah. Thank you. That's the biggest obstacle so far for me. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, I wrote this several years ago, that out of your greatest challenge comes your greatest talent. My greatest challenge was that I didn't speak any English. And now I make a living talking to people. What is it that is in your heart that is so powerful, that you believe so much about, that becomes the driving force that moves you forward? In 2013, I had a massive heart attack, post being diagnosed with cancer. When I woke up from surgery, the doctor comes to me and says, "How you doing?" I said, "How do you think I'm doing? I just had a heart attack." He goes, I said, "Can you give me a piece of paper and a pen?" And he goes, "Are you writing your will?" And I said, "Doctor, I'm not dead yet, so I'm not done yet." So I wrote this: "Don't let the circumstances define you or confine you. Make them refine you." This is refinement. Every time you decide that I'm going to go and find more knowledge, more skills, more talents, you know what? Sharpen myself. That's refinement. Don't let the circumstances define who you are. Let the way you live your life do that. You will find challenges and there will be struggles. But when you surround with people, like people in this room, they'll lift you up. So don't let those things in life. Every single one of us have experienced tragedy, pain, and sorrow. That's our humanity. That's who we are. But our most important goal for every single one of us is happiness and joy and fulfillment. How many of you want to be happy? How many of you want to be fulfilled? There you go. What we have in common brought us together. Our differences must keep us together. Because when my knowledge stops, his journey begins. When I said, "Morris, I need your guidance." "Stephen, I need your guidance." Her and I had the most amazing conversation earlier today, and we just got into this moment of conversation, and she just shared a little bit about her ethnic background, and it was just, we just had a moment before we started, right? And you know, and believe it or not, she was actually praying for me. We're standing there, and I asked her to do that, and I'm praying for her. Nothing happens. I don't work for myself. ER Enterprises, by the way, is not my initials. It's environmental radar. What do people see you do? What do people hear you say? My environmental radar is on all the time. I pay close attention. I mean, I'm scanning this room, and I already know so many of you, and I'm so blessed and fortunate to get to know you. Love each other, help each other. I said that earlier. You got to support each other. You have a community here. Not a lot of people get to do that. I wish I had this when I was growing up. I wish I had this existed in my journey. I was so young. I was 19 years old when I came to this country. ER Enterprises became this place where I can actually, right now, have people in different parts of the United States that whenever they need to do workshops that I'm not able to do, they do it for me. And I said, okay, you know what? Here's my materials. You get to do it. You're supporting my clients. And then my heart is with the students at the university. Get them early. Do that for your community. Support your community, especially the young ones. There's a couple of young ones in here. Bring them up to know that even though you face some challenges, there's some great opportunities. The biggest challenge that exists is that space between your head and your heart. Those 18 inches. That's where I work as an executive coach. Give me your 18 inches between your head and your heart, and I'm going to dive right in. Do that with you. Love you. Take care of you. Don't let the naysayers continue to impact your life. The reason they do that because they're jealous. They don't want you to succeed. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I felt the emotions across the room as each of y'all shared your stories of overcoming adversity, because I know there's so much adversity that has been overcome in this room, and so I want to take a moment to proclaim, not as I but as us, that 2024 can be the year that we achieve the greatness that we all have within ourselves. And so I hope that you say that out loud with me, with us, and you think about what this next question means to each of you as I ask this to each of our panelists. What are some things in 2024 that you're excited about?
I think the first thing I'm excited about would be this year I'm focusing more on realizing that the adversities that I'm facing, and to Eddie's point, is an opportunity to continue to shape me to find the next thing, right? It's, I'm excited about, how we are aggressively taking this approach to serving our youth and helping our young and inspired minds out there be cultivated. And the reason why I say that is because for so many years, I'm talking about myself because I have two boys. Both of them, just one's in college and the other one graduated from college. But I was very deliberate and strict about their access to games, right? Video games, because I felt it was a non-productive use of their time, right? So, or unproductive use of their time. But then as I was doing more studies around the power of games today and how it's advancing young men and women's brains and how their comprehension, their cognitive thinking, their problem solving skills are being accelerated because of what is behind the computer. And then you start seeing things happening in today's world where AI is now programming around artificial intelligence is part of our world, right? And what's coming out. I just saw an article today. I don't know if you see it. Tesla's releasing the first robot that is about to go out into the market. Drones are being flown. I just went to an amazing Lunar New Year event in Chinatown, and they did this whole display of these drones flying in this artistic format. But we all know we have this amazing Air Force base here called Creech Air Force Base, and that's where they're flying stealth planes through drone piloting. These are soldiers learning how to flying planes with with a control stick, video game with a PlayStation control stick, right? So you think about where our world is going, and me as a father, I failed my boys because I withheld from them what tomorrow is bringing because I kept them in yesterday. And so now we're on a mission to helping not just young kids feel like they belong and feel accepted because they have a passion in gaming and a passion in technology and a passion in digital artistry, but it's helping parents bridge that gap as well. So we're taking an aggressive approach. That's why we're opening up 50 locations in the next 5 years. Right now, I think we're on pace for 50 in 3 if we keep at this pace. But it's to really not just help the youth have a space where they can feel they belong and they can be developed, but to be honest, is really to help parents really advance their acceptance of what gaming can do for a young child's mind. If you ever had a chance, watch a young kid play Fortnite or Valorant or League of Legends. you would be, I mean, you don't understand. They are using engineering skills. They are using problem solving skills, forward thinking skills. I mean, all these skills are coming into play. I have a young man in one of our centers who's 6 years old, and he's building his own island on Roblox. That's all engineering. And for us to withhold that from someone like that, we're removing the opportunity of this young man finding his best self at a young age. But when you help someone at that age find who they are, imagine where they're going to be 10 years from now. When that young man is 16 years old, I told him, you're probably going to run this country or be the next Elon Musk, because we're feeding into his natural calling, right? So I'm excited about what we're going to be able to do, not just for the youth, but also for people like myself who withheld things from our young, from my young boys, where I regret that. But again, it gives me the opportunity to correct it today.
Thank you, Morris.
For 2024, I'm actually very excited about grow our brand and allow my team member to be a part of this journey. It was always my goal to give opportunities for myself and also for my team to have a better our personal growth. And also last year it was filled with challenges, and then we fortunate to survive. So this year in China is the year of dragon, and then we see this year is a good opportunity to reach new success for us as an organization. So, and also one more thing is I could think of, my original goal was to bring my family brand to the States. So I think it might be the time to do that right now. So I'm gonna probably start from this year. Yeah.
Yeah, let's achieve more in 2024. Let's make this happen. Every time I have the opportunity to be in a room like this one, it opens the door for the opportunity to touch hearts. Because with all the technology, everything that Morris have mentioned, I'm very cognizant of that. I think we all are, right? It's happening around us. But I want to continue doing the work that I do because it changes lives. It gets people in the direction and the fulfillment of their dreams. And when I see people dreaming and not knowing where to go from there, and I could be the catalyst to get them in that direction, to remove some of the barriers, some of the roadblocks that exist, because they only exist in our minds, is those 18 inches between your head and your heart. That's what I do my best work. And I'm going to continue that. So 2024, what represents to me is like, okay, that's 2024. What about 2025? And what about 2026? I said earlier during the workshop that one of these days I'm going to die doing a workshop. I'm going to collapse. But you can actually say, I was there. Yeah. But boy, he just went doing what he loved. Do what you love. The money will follow. Don't let the past take from you what the future has for you. Greatness comes from looking ahead. So keep looking ahead. Keep looking forward. Don't let anything stop you. Because 2024 is just a number. There'll be a 2025 and a 2026. This has a vision of the future that has no end. And when you work in that space, nothing will stop you. There will no roadblocks and no barriers that you can't overcome. And when you surround yourself with people like the people in this room, you're not alone. So that's what I'm looking forward to. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, thank you everybody for sharing. I think I know the secret of staying young now. Just do what you love. Okay, that's great. So folks, we are live on the Entrepreneurs News Network on YouTube. And so I want to, invite y'all to drop a comment, ask any questions you might have. If it's okay with the panelists, I want to open it up in a second for folks to think about what questions you might have. We don't have too much time. We might be able to get maybe 2 questions in from folks. But before we open that up, if I can go around the room and if you can share how people can get involved with you, what sort of programs you may want to promote, this is the floor is yours to do that.
Yeah, so feel free to stop me before I leave, and I'm happy to share my card with any of you. You can get in contact with me through my cell phone or even, yeah, absolutely, my cell phone or even through Lyft. Again, Stephen Ness here is my partner. Him and I journey together. I call him the activator of our relationship. I'm the dreamer. He's the activator. But whether you get in touch with him or myself through Looking Inward for Tomorrow, you can make an appointment there as well to book time with me or with Steven. You can also get in touch with me. Come to Valhalla. It's a esports location. I live in that place because the young minds inspire me. Trust me, you spend an afternoon with these kids and you watch them, it makes you want to go out there and dream some more, right? So you can get in touch with me there, or you can shoot me an email address. I try to make myself available as much as I can. So feel free to reach out.
You could reach out to us from our website. It's China Mama Las Vegas. And also you could always follow us on our social media. We have our Instagram and TikTok. If you search China Mama LV, you're going to see that. Yeah. And also if you want to enjoy more of our food, welcome to come to our Shanghai Plaza location to enjoy more food. And then you can always order takeout through our China Mama Express location. And also we're going to have one more new location open very soon, probably around May. It's going to be near ULV. So we're going to hiring very soon. So if you want to join our team, please let me know. And then I can always leave my contact info to you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, real quick, in the essence of time, I have a QR code. So whenever you see me outside in the hallway, I'll be more than happy to share that with you and you can get in contact with me. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's open it up for some questions. Stephen's got the mic. EJ first, and then Christian in the back.
First off, how do I find the live YouTube?
I'll show you right after. Do you have a question for our panelists?
I don't think I do. Thank you.
Okay. Christian in the back had a question.
A question for all the panel, but specifically to Eddie. How has experience coupled with formal education brought you to the place where you are now, and where do you think it's going to take you in 3 years, 5 years, and hopefully 30 years from now? That the coupling of those two, experience plus formal education, because you made mention of the fact that you're going for your doctorate now, and I'm really curious how you feel like that's a value add to all the experience that you brought.
First, you have to be insane.
You have to be insane.
You have to be a little bit insane because I'm 68 years old, right? And here I am going for my PhD. But you know what? It became that catalyst because my previous education, I went to pre-med at the University of Puerto Rico, right? And then when I came to the United States, they couldn't validate any of my credits because back in 1975, it's just, not only that, I couldn't go back to school because I didn't speak the language. So I made this conscious decision that I needed to find knowledge and I needed to educate myself. And so never stop learning because life will never stop teaching. But what that created was this desire inside of me of getting to know more. I want to know more. I need to understand why he does what he does. Why does he speak the way he does? I went to the same seminar 12 times at one time early on in my career, 12 times, to the point that one day the facilitator said to me, he goes, do you want to do a piece? It's like, why? He says, you've been coming here. You know this stuff. He goes, I can just say verbatim. I wanted to understand why is that important? Why is it changing lives? I saw the audience just really activated and energized. I want to do that. So that desire inside of me became before I decided to get a formal education. So I do have an undergrad degree in business administration from University of California. But then, by the way, I just finished my master's degree when I was 57. So be careful when you use the age thing as a justification, as an excuse. You got to pursue it. You got to do it. Do it for yourself. I did this quietly. I went on my own. I went ahead and registered. And then I go, you have to be insane to do this, but I'm insane anyway. So it doesn't matter. But the satisfaction at the end was so great that my professor said to me, he goes, you have got to do your PhD. And I said, heck no. And you said 30 years from now, that's a long time. I'll be 98. I'll be here, by the way. So if you're still around, I'll be here. Pursue your education. You got to do this. Do it for yourself. Not because mommy and daddy want it, but because it's important, it's significant, it's valuable. It expands the view of knowledge and understanding of the world, the people around you. It gives you freedom. that no one can take away from you. They can take away a lot of things from us, except the power to choose the decisions that we make in our life. I hope that answered your question. Thank you.
Can I say one thing? Can I just remember? Thank you. I think almost all of you are based in Vegas. Don't forget, we have amazing higher education opportunity in Las Vegas, right? I'm from UNLV. We are the most diverse university in the country. The most diverse. And we don't care who you are, how old you are. I'm a professor there, and I can tell you that I love to work with everyone. I'm married to a professor there, and the experience is the same. So unfortunately, universities have this bad reputation of being far from everyone, isolated, the big, ivory tower. It's not. Like we are not only UNLV, there is like CSN, Nevada State. And really, it's like such a great opportunity. And we love to see students. We just love students. We are super community oriented. So meaning that you don't just study on books and that's it. Like, for example, myself, not because I'm good. No, absolutely not. But no. But just, I love to teach my classes, and I teach hospitality and tourism and sociology. And every time I use concrete examples, right? So I hope that students who study with me, they are able to apply everything to the world outside. So the university is open and really looks forward to welcoming you. Again, UNLV is the most diverse campuses in the US. So yes, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry.
Could I just add one more thing, just real quick? I mean, I'm a huge advocate of going back for higher learning. I've completed my second master's degree. I got my first master's degree. I did my undergrad here in Las Vegas, got my first master's degree at the University of Washington because I was in banking. So I figured I need to know more about banking. But then I went back and got my second master's degree in project management. But I got to tell you, it was the higher education, the higher learning from professors and the network you built that helped me accelerate in new ventures in my life. So you're not only going back to get something that Eddie shared that no one can ever take away from you, and that's knowledge. Knowledge is the key to success. The second key is relationships. The relationships you build with the university professors, the university resources, the students you're journeying with, those will last a lifetime. And there are people that I've gone to school with today who are my best friends in this business journey that I hold near and dear to my heart. And I wouldn't have gotten where I'm at today if it wasn't for them. So it's not only a great opportunity for you to master and for you to obtain that knowledge, but it's a great place for you to build the connections, the network, the resources to help you on your journey. So leverage your universities, leverage UNLV, leverage leverage all of our local resources here. That's what's going to help you on your journey.
So this is my first Q&A, but I'm sorry if you guys already said this, but so I'm a college student at CSN, but my question to pretty much all of you is in all the adversities that you have faced, or if I'm reading this right, sorry, for all the adversities that you have faced, what is the how do you overcome adversities like if someone I already said put you down or something like that? How do you go about like getting that all straight in your mind, or have the mindset to help to get you to realize that adversity and just move on from it? If that makes sense.
Yeah, really good question. I would say first is surround yourself with the right people to help you process what you're going through, right? Because if you hold it within and you don't have that network to talk to, sometimes the biggest enemy, a good friend of mine told me it's a saboteur that sits on your shoulder, that sometimes you can allow that saboteur to convince you of who you can't or who you're not or what you can't do or where you can't go. So one is learning how to fight that saboteur. And then when you have someone who validates that saboteur, it makes it a little bit harder, right? It's how do you find that person you can talk with through that. 2 is having this unsurmountable belief in yourself and having a routine to remind yourself, how do you overcome situations, right? It's reminding yourself your greatness, is reminding yourself of your successes, reminding yourself of your capabilities. 2 is having this faith. You got to have faith in you. 3, 4, you got to, even if someone puts you down, get back up and go after it again. Think about even today. Today is even a success for you. You standing up and asking that question is an accomplishment, right? And so we have to recognize all the small wins we have every day. Like, I win every morning when I get up and make my bed. That's a win. No one can take that from me. I win when I walk out that door. It's another win. No one can take that from me. I win when I go out there and meet someone new and put them in my Rolodex. That's a win. No one can take that from me. You might have throughout that journey people who remind you or may try to remind you of who you're not, but you have to fill your bucket every day of who you are. And as you keep doing that, you're always going to have challenges. You're always going to have adversities. You're always going to have things that defeat you. You have to start having things that can overcome that for yourself. You have to fill your own bucket. So when those moments do come, you know how to, I guess, what is that? Shadow that or bury that, not bury it, throw it out. Yeah. Burn it. Just get rid of it. Right. But you got to create your own wins. You got to create your own wins, because there's plenty of people out there who will try to discredit you or not validate you. But as long as you validate yourself and as long as you create your own wins, it will overcome any adversity that you're facing out there.
Yeah, I think for me it's very simple. Like, I just feel like we just have to face all the challenges. You just have to face it. Don't avoid it. Because then I always tell myself, don't be afraid of the challenges, because it's gonna really help you in your personal growth. So I think you have to face it and then just try to accomplish that. Yeah.
When you live by other people's expectations, you will die by their rejection. The biggest competitor you ever face in your life is the person in front of the mirror. If I would allow the naysayers, the ones that said to me, you will never achieve, you'll never amount to anything. And I got that plenty, including because of my ethnicity. You know what it did? It fueled the fire in me. Because one day I realized that the fire in me was stronger than the fire around me. And I went into that journey moving forward. Be careful when you allow the naysayers and the majority of people that criticize you and judge you is because they're jealous. The majority of the time, because you're achieving something that they have probably never put the time and the effort that you're putting to achieve. Don't let that get to your heart, but don't let it get to your head. Don't let it get to your heart. Because they will consume you. And if you need to walk away from those conversations, walk away. Sometimes you have to love people from afar, and that's okay. Advice 1. Number 2, I'm a man of faith. I don't do anything without honoring the one who gave me life, the one who saved my life. And he saved my life twice. Everything I do, and I don't care. I don't know what if you have any faith or religious belief, but these are mine. I'm just telling you what works for me. But every morning when I wake up, I say thank you. And when the day will come when I get to see my Savior, I will say thank you so much for all the skills and all the talents that you gave me, because I got to use them. I hope you can welcome me home. When you live in that space in your life and you walk out the journey, there's nothing, no one that can get in the way. Just keep walking, keep moving forward. But don't let those individuals get to your heart.
I would love to add something to that. There's two wolves inside of you. There's lots of different metaphors you could put towards this. I'm going to use this one. And you've got the saboteur wolf, and you've got the empowering wolf, right? And you got to choose which one you're going to feed. And we feed them every single day. You know, we get the negative self-talk every single day. Sometimes many of us do. I still do. And that's feeding the saboteur wolf. Or sometimes it could be the external validation of the people that we look up to or that we care for, telling us those negative things, feeding our negative wolf. What we have to do is feed our positive wolf. And like Eddie said, that could be through books of religious text. It could even be through the entrepreneurial books that we have here. We have like Connected to Goodness, different startup books, personal development books. My point is, if there's negativity in your life, we have to counter that with positivity. And the way I personally have gone about it was probably three things. One, putting myself in spaces like this one so I can hang out with John and get some positivity in me by reading books, whether that's the Bible or some of these entrepreneur books. And then one of the recent ones that was an interesting hack for me, because I love hip hop, was removing all of the negative hip hop and specifically curating a bunch of positive hip hop for like gratitude is the attitude, all that good jazz. So I'm happy to share that playlist with anybody. I've been listening to that for over a year now, and it's just on loop now in my head. You know, gratitude, positivity, earning money, being abundant. It's just my mindset. And so if you have negative forces in your life, you have to replace it with positive inputs.
I'm going to give you a quick exercise. I do this every morning. I've been doing this for 25 years of my life. Every morning when you wake up, declare your intentions. My intentions for today are, when I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, my intentions for today, you and I had this conversation. I'm here to give. I'm here to give. I'm here to give. This is not about me. This is not about me. I'm here to give of my talents, my knowledge, my skills, my experience. I'm here to give to all of you so you can walk away with something. What's the takeaway? And tonight, before you go to bed, ask yourself, what was good about today? What was good? If you end every day of your life from this point forward, so I'm going to challenge you tonight, ask yourself, what was good about today? Today, I got to attend this all-day workshop, and I learned this, and I learned that. Whatever you capture from this, celebrate that. Celebrate you. Celebrate your life. Celebrate this moment, and there's more moments to come. And I know I speak for myself, but I can speak for the other two speakers. Wherever you need us, we're here for you.
And then my last thing is talk to yourself. I know people may call you crazy, right? Because when you see people talking to themselves, you might call we used to call them crazy, but talk to yourself. But talk to yourself in a way where you are feeding yourself who you want to be. Feed yourself goodness. Feed yourself how great you are. Feed yourself, again, to Eddie's point, at the end of the day, what did I learn? What did I get? What did I gain? Feed yourself with the good things, because there's one thing for certain, you will be attacked by negativity. But talk to yourself about all the positive things that you're going to do, what you're about to do, and what you have done. And if you keep feeding yourself that, and you feed yourself the goodness, good things will come out of it every single day.
Two final questions, Sammy, and then PJ, and then we got to wrap it up.
I have a question for Ivy, especially since we're talking about all this outside naysayer. My inner turmoil has also been that I work with people who are older than me, who have a lot of experience, and my culture says I'm supposed to respect those people. It's one thing to have a wolf that you're like, okay, well, this person's opinion doesn't matter. And it's another to have a wolf on your team who you need to work with you. Can you give us some advice about how you've gone through that experience?
I think for me, of course, at the very beginning, it's going to be very difficult because they probably will never gonna, at the beginning, they won't listen to you because they think you are young and you don't have lots of experiences. But for me, that time, I still treat them respectful. So, and then during that time period, I think I showed their first I showed their my respect, and then also I actually showed them I do have some experience of managing the restaurants. So when they actually see you have the ability, and then when you're gonna go through several different stages, they're gonna show their trust to you. So I mean, just be a little bit patient and don't be stressful about that. It's a very difficult thing, but you just have to be more patient about that, and then keep improve yourself. Yeah, and then they're gonna see that. And then one thing I could think of is just my dad always tell me, you just have to make all the details right, and then don't think too much. Just keep doing the right thing, and then the right result gonna show up by the end. Yeah, so that's what I can give my advice. Yeah.
I just was wondering if you guys know, and we could help the young man in the back. Something I've had to do for myself was learn to talk to myself and not let my mind talk to me. But what I've learned is that any statement we make with I am in front of it 20 times in a row literally makes new healed grooves in our brain. So I challenge the young man in the back. When someone says something negative to you, out loud, I am the opposite, whatever they said, I am whatever the opposite is, 20 times. And do it a couple times, 20 times too. And do it the next day until that becomes your DNA, literally your brain. And I'm living proof. I'm 61 and I've had to overcome everything you can imagine from my childhood and in my adult life. My every year has been something traumatic almost. So I'm living proof that we can still be joyful overcomers.
Yay. It's really interesting because I do this exercise called the power of I am. And I've been doing this for many, many years. You and I did this, right? Yeah. Anyways, and Stephen is witness of that. So I get to do this with a lot of my students and my clients. And so I want you all to think of one word that represents the essence of you, the greatness of you, the power within you. One word. And in front of that word, you're going to put the words, I am. And when you think of that word, just, if you're free to say it, tell me what that word is and put the words I am in front of it. I'm going to start with a young man. What were you thinking? I am what? Whatever comes to mind. There's no right or wrong. There you go. We need to celebrate that. What follows your I am follows you. And what follows your I am will come looking for you. Believe that in every fiber of your being. I am that. I am smart. Go with that. The rest of you do the same. Do it every day. Sorry.
Any final words from our panelists? Ivy, would you like to wrap us up? Any final words, or Morris, go ahead and wrap us up.
No, I think today you already won today by being here. You chose to make an investment in yourself. You chose to make an investment in your journey, and you chose to be here. And it's what you do at this moment and what you do next is what's most important. Remember, just keep looking ahead. Don't look behind you. There's a lot of things behind us that will slow us down, that will stop us, that will prevent us from going where we're supposed to go. Use today as an opportunity to look forward. There are amazing people in this room. I mean, I had a chance of meeting Sammy not too long ago, one of the brightest minds I ever had a chance to sit in front of. The girl is smart and she would give it to you the way you need it. So that's what you have to recognize. You are surrounded by a bunch of great individuals. And for you being here, that means you've already told yourself and validated yourself that I am a great individual. So take advantage of this and leverage these resources. We've all been where you are at, and we all want to help, and you have the resources to help you. And thank you to Elias, and thank you to everyone here with Nevada Partners. This is exactly what not just our community, but the world needs more of. And applaud yourself for being here this morning or this afternoon.
Do you want to share any closing remarks, each of you?
I think we're good.
All right. This has been great. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then that way folks can, take a restroom break, get some water, talk to our amazing panelists, and then we'll be back for pitches where folks can have an opportunity to share their work with the world on Entrepreneurs News Network. One more time, let's give it up for these amazing entrepreneur panelists. All right. Thank you, Eddie. This is so awesome. I appreciate it. Ivy, you did amazing. Thank you so much. It was so great. Thank you. Great. Morris, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you.